Hi everybody, I'm Bia, and welcome back to Cardiac Radio for Teens. For those of you who might not know, Cardiac Radio for Teens is a place where teens can come together with other teens to learn about Spiritist teachings and topics in a way that makes more sense to us and is more relatable to us as teenagers in today's society. What we've been doing for a while now is reading through the Spirits book together, and we're almost at the end of it actually, but we've been reading through it so that we can understand the basis of Spiritism and understand kind of the simplest concepts, and so that way when we keep growing and we keep learning more, we can grow off of this basic knowledge that we already have. So right now it's really important for us to be learning the Spirits book and making a foundation for what we can learn off of as we get older. So we are on a chapter about earthly joys and sorrows, and within that, we left off last week talking about the loss of loved ones. So we'll continue right there where we left off at question 936. What effect does the inconsolable sorrow of survivors have upon spirits when they are subject of that sorrow? So here the question is asking, so someone on earth is grieving for this person and is very upset and has a lot of sorrow for this person that just passed away. So how does that spirit who just passed away, that everyone is sad because of them, how do they feel? What's their reaction to this? And the spirits answered, a spirit is touched by the memory and regrets of those it has loved. However, persistent and unreasonable sorrow is painful because, in excessive grief, it sees a lack of faith in the future and confidence in God. Consequently, this ends up being an obstacle to advancement and perhaps even to their reunion. So here what it's saying is that spirit who passed away, they're touched by people missing them and people loving them and people regrets, oh, I wish we were able to do this before they passed away and stuff like that. They're touched by that because it shows that those people truly care about them. But sometimes when it's a lot of sorrow and sometimes unreasonable, like past the point, like, okay, we have to move on, but we're still stuck in that sorrow and you're still going through a lot of pain. Sometimes this causes a lack of faith in the future because then that spirit's like, oh my God, these people are just suffering completely. Like, where's God if I'm just going to be here suffering and all that? So of course it's all right to be upset about losing a loved one. But when it's persistent and when sometimes it becomes like it's been such a long time, we need to start moving on, it kind of shows that we lack faith in the future and we don't have confidence in God, because we should have confidence in God that, okay, even though it's sad, we can be upset, but after we have this confidence in God, end of the future, and that we'll be united again. But now having this unreasonable sorrow that's so painful is going to make it harder for us to advance, and it's going to make us harder to have that reunion with our loved ones afterwards. And then Allan Kardec put his own comment in, and he said, for a spirit who is happier than it was on earth, regretting the change in life is to regret being happy. Let us take the example of two friends who are prisoners locked up in the same prison. Both of them will be freed one day, but one is released before the other. Would it be kind on the part of the one who remains to regret that the other leaves sooner? Would there not be more selfishness than affection when one wants another to remain captive and suffering in the same circumstance as oneself? The same is true with two individuals who love one another on earth. If one leaves first, the other should rejoice while patiently awaiting for his or her own freedom. So what they're saying is that we shouldn't be like, oh, I wish they stayed, I wish it was me instead of them, because exactly, think about this example that they give us with two friends that are in prison. If one is let out earlier, are you going to sit there and wish, oh, I wish I got let out and they stayed here suffering? No, we should be happy for, oh, I'm happy they got out. I'm happy they're doing better things now. I'm still going to have to stay here, but one day my turn's going to come too. But we shouldn't wish for them to be in our position that's in a worse position. We want them to be happier because that shows our true compassion and our true love for them. We want them to be happier and better, even if we might not be at that same place. And then Allan Kardec continues, we may illustrate this subject by means of another comparison. You have a friend whose circumstances result in a painful existence, although he or she remains physically close to you. Thus, your friend's health or interests require a change to another country, where he or she will be better off in every aspect. However, your friend will no longer be near you at every moment, but will still keep contact with you. The separation between you will only be in your daily life. Should you grieve for the loss of physical contact, considering it is for your friend's own good? So here again, it's saying we lost this physical contact that we have for the person, but that's what was best for the person. The person needed to go to that other place so that they could be better in every aspect. Or else, if they stayed with us, they were going to be miserable and suffering and going through a lot of bad things. So although we'll be sad that we lost this physical contact of seeing this person every day, but we know that in the end what happened, where they went, was for the best for their lives. And this is the same way we can look at when we lose someone close to us, because just because they had to go somewhere else, they had to go to the spirit world, and we lost physical contact with us, doesn't mean that we still don't have contact with them. It doesn't mean we're never going to see them again. It's just what was better for them. And if we're like, oh, I wish they were here, then that's selfish on our parts, because for them to be here, they were suffering and going through a hardship, and it was their time to go somewhere else so that they could be better. And then Allan Kardec continues, Spiritism gives us clear proof of a future life and its presence around us, as well as the continued affection of people we love and the relationships we are able to keep. Spiritism offers us the greatest consolation for the most painful of human sorrows. Spiritism eliminates loneliness and abandonment because friends with whom one can hold affection, conversations, always surround the most isolated of human beings. We are often impatient by the trials and tribulations of life. They seem so intolerable that we sometimes believe that we cannot endure them. Yet, we face them with courage, and if we are able to silence our complaints, we will rejoice in remembrance of the experience when we have finished our human existence. The same way that patients rejoice when they recover after completing a painful course of treatment that has cured the disease. So here what they're saying is that, yes, when we lose a loved one, it is horrible and it is a pain we feel, but Spiritism helps us with that, because Spiritism shows us that there is a future and that person's not gone forever, and we can still be in contact with those people, and that our connection with that person still exists. And so although we might feel lonely, or we might miss that person, or we might be sad, we know that they're still there and we'll be reunited with them, and our connection still exists with them. So that's a way that Spiritism can help us in these situations. And of course, this is a trial that we're going through. This is something that we have to go through and face. So sometimes we look at these trials and we think, oh my God, I'm never going to pass this. Or even not maybe with the death of a loved one, but maybe something little, maybe a big test that you have. You think, I'm never going to pass this. This is it. But you're going to face it with courage. You're going to get through it. And you're going to overcome that. And then later on, you'll see, wow, I'm glad I overcame that, or I'm glad I did that. So the same way, it's going to be a painful thing that we go through to lose a loved one, or a lot of situations. But we have to face it with courage and know that Spiritism is helping to guide us, and the good spirits and God, they're there helping to guide us. And that one day when we complete this and when we look back at it, we'll be like, wow, we recovered from that. We did that. So of course it's okay to be upset over the loss of a loved one, to have sorrow and grieve for them. But Spiritism can help show us that there is more to it than just that. There's more to it than we just lost that person. So in those times of trouble, turn to Spiritism to see, wait, how is this a better situation than this, like, maybe negative outlook that I have? So it's okay to be upset, but we know that we can also turn to Spiritism for consolation. And now we're on to the next section, which is titled Disappointment, Shattered Affections. So question 937. Is the disappointment that leads to ingratitude and the fragility of friendship another source of bitterness for the human heart? So here they're talking about your relationship with another person, a friendship with another person, and then there's disappointment of some sort within that friendship. So instead, is this another source of bitterness for the human heart? Is this something else that makes our heart upset, is when we have these disappointments with people that are our friends or we have close relationships with? And the spirits answered, yes, but we teach you to feel pity for the ungrateful and faithless friends, as they have more unhappy than you. Ingratitude comes from selfishness, and people who are selfish eventually meet hearts as callous as their own. Think of all those who have done more than good to you, who are more worthy than you are, and whose kindness were paid in ingratitude. Remember that, in his life, Jesus was ridiculed, despised, and treated as both a criminal and a fraud. You should not be shocked if you are treated in the same way. The knowledge that you have done good should be your reward in your present life, and do not worry about what people who have benefited from it say. Ingratitude tests your persistence in doing good. It counts in your favor in the future, and those who have ignored your kindness will be punished. The greater their ingratitude, the more severe the atonement. So there might be people who don't like us, who say mean things to us, or they were our friends and then out of nowhere they say something really mean to us, or they do something that makes us lose our trust in them. But we can't focus on those people. We can feel pity for those people, because eventually those people who are doing those things, they're gonna have to make up for those mistakes that they're made, and maybe they're gonna face someone that's doing even worse to them than they are doing to us. So we should feel bad for those people and pity those people, because they're going to face much worse consequences than us by them telling us mean things. And it's always to remember that even people were against Jesus, people were mean and despised Jesus, yet he didn't take any of that to heart, so why should we, right? So if people are mean to us, we just have to focus on us doing the right things and doing good things, because we're going to be rewarded off of the good we do, and nothing that the other person says about us is gonna affect the good that we do. So we have to keep doing the best that we can and just feel pity for those people, because they're going to have to go through many trials to overcome these mistakes that they're making by saying mean things to us or being ungrateful about what we do. But of course, we are in this situation, we're talking about very specifically, like, you're doing good things and people are still being mean to you or saying bad things about the kindness you're doing. Because we know that sometimes someone might say something not to be mean, but to give us like a little reality check, like, oh, like maybe you should do this, and even though we might be offended, it might be something to truly help us, to show us that we're doing something wrong. But in this situation, we're talking about like you're doing kindness or you're being kind to someone else, and they're just being mean to you for no reason. So, or being ingrateful for the good that you're doing. So when we're talking about those situations, those people, they're going to have to repay for those mistakes, for being mean to you about your kindness, right? So that's a mistake, because they're not being kind. So they're going to have to repay and learn to be kind as well. So, and they're going to serve that. So just in those situations, just keep focusing on the good you're doing and keep pursuing it and keep doing that good, because that's what's going to count in the end, not what any of these people are saying to you about it. Question 938. Are the disappointments that ingratitude cause meant to harden the heart and turn it callous and insensitive? So here what the questions are asking is that, are these disappointments, are these people who are ungrateful, is that supposed to harden, what they're saying is like to harden your heart, to make you like stiff, so that when people say that stuff to you, it doesn't affect you, or to make you insensitive. So, oh, when someone says like that to me, it doesn't affect me because I've like toughened up, really. So it's saying, are these things like to help you toughen up? And the spirits answered, that is wrong, because virtuous people are always happy doing good for others. They know that if those they have helped do not recognize their kindness in this life, they will in a future one, and they will then feel shame and remorse for their ingratitude. So no, if someone's not grateful for what we're doing, say we help someone with their homework, but then they don't even say thank you. and you're like, well, I just helped you. But it's not about, oh, then I'm not going to help this person, or it's fine, I'm just not going to let that affect me. No, doing good is going to help other people and help ourselves improve. So, but we are not looking for people's gratitude. But for those people who didn't even say thank you when we helped them, eventually they're going to learn that, wow, that person did take their time to help me. And then they're going to feel ashamed. They're going to be like, wow, that person took the time to help me, and I didn't even say thank you, and I didn't even do this. So eventually they are going to realize, and they're going to feel shame and remorse for not being kind to someone that was kind to them. But in our point of view, we have to just keep doing kindness. And some people might not accept it. Some people might be stubborn to accept help. But we just keep doing our kindness and going about our way. And then those people, it'll be their own problem to go through those trials and atonements for making up of those people that they weren't grateful towards. But it's important to keep in mind to never stop doing our kindness. Because it's not like, oh, if I hold open the door for someone and they don't say thank you, oh, I'm never going to hold open the door for anyone again. No, we still want to be the best that we can be. We still want to be kind to everyone. So we still hold open the door. And some people will thank you and some people won't. But that's not of concern to us. Of concern to us is just doing good and being kind to all people. And then there's a second part to this question, and it says, however, this knowledge does not prevent them from being hurt by ingratitude in this life. Could this pain lead them to think that they would be happier if they were less sensitive? So here they're saying, okay, maybe a person doesn't really toughen up, but they're still affected by it. If someone doesn't say thank you, I mean, that's a very small example, but if we do something for someone and they don't even say thank you, or they're even mean to you on top of that, you're going to be hurt by that. You're going to be offended. And so then could they think that, oh, if I was less sensitive, then this wouldn't affect me? Or is it good to be sensitive? And the spirits answered, yes, if they prefer selfish happiness. So here they're saying, so yeah, people, if they prefer to be selfishly happy, just to be happy for themselves, then yeah, they could think that being less sensitive is better. Then the spirits continue. Still, this sort of happiness is very pitiful. People must try to understand that the ungrateful friends who desert them are unworthy of their friendship, and that they are mistaken in their thoughts of them. They should no longer regret the loss of these friends. Other friends who are better able to understand the motives behind their acts of goodwill will take their place. You should pity those from whom you receive poor treatment, which you did not deserve, because they will receive severe tribulation. You should not allow yourself to be upset by their bad behavior. Your ability to remain unaffected by their ill treatment places you above them. So it's not about being, oh, I shouldn't be this sensitive because those people are being mean and I'm still upset. No, because that would be selfish. Then we would just stop helping people, or we wouldn't have emotions is what we want. We don't want to not have emotions so we can be happy. No, we want to be able to work through that and rise above that. Even when people are being mean to us, we can just rise above that. And in these situations, we have to keep in mind that people who are our friends, but then are mean to us and don't appreciate us and just treating us bad for no reason, those people aren't truly our friends. And then they're going to go on and they're going to do something else, and we're going to find other friends that do appreciate us and that do value us and are grateful for us. And those are the friends that do count, and those are the friends that are truly going to be our friends and be there for us. So even if you lose a friend, but they are very mean to you and not grateful for you, then don't worry about it. You're going to find those people that are good for you, that are the best ones for you. And the only thing that we should do towards those other people who were not nice to us is just pity them, because they don't know what true friends is like, and they don't know what true friendship and kindness is. But so we should just pity them, because they still have to go through all that and learn that. But we should not let ourselves be upset by that, because we know that if we're not affected by it, then we're going above them, because those things are little and petty. And we see that a lot in school. We see a lot of little and petty fights and drama that don't really matter. So if we rise above ourselves, we're showing that we're more elevated, that we don't need to take part in this because this is little silly school drama. And then Allan Kardec put his own comment in, and he says, nature has given human beings the need to love and to be loved. One of the greatest joys given to them on earth is meeting like-minded hearts. This sympathy gives them a taste of happiness that awaits them in the worlds of perfect spirits, where love and kindness reign. This type of happiness is denied to the selfish. So just to sum it up, there's gonna be people who are mean to us, and maybe for no reason, just we're nice to them, they're mean to us. But we have to rise above those people, and instead, don't worry about being their friends. Go find friends that do match with you and are kind to you and do treat you with respect, and you treat them with respect and kindness. And those types of people are the friends that are going to last, the friends that are important. And those other people, just pity them because they still have to learn and they don't know how to have true friends. And these types of situations happen to everyone, and I'm sure all of us has experienced something of this sort, because even I have had people who I thought were my friends and who were nice to me, and then they said mean things and they didn't want to be my friend. And then after that, I found those friends that, oh, these are my real friends. These are the people who truly care for me, who truly appreciate me, and those are my real friends. And that those other people who were not my real friends, we can only pity them because we think, oh, well, you were just mean to me for no reason, and you don't know how to be nice. So we've all gone through these situations, and it is upsetting and it does hurt, but we have to put ourselves above those people and realize that they're going to have to learn from all those mistakes that we're making, and we're going to find friends. We're going to find the real people that we belong with. And oftentimes when we go through situations like this, we don't think immediately, oh, in the Spirit's book it said this and this and this. So maybe if we keep it in our heads, oh, this part in the Spirit's book, disappointment, shattered affections. So when something like this occurs, we think, wait, what was that part in the Spirit's book? And we go back and we read it and we think, oh yeah, this is right. We shouldn't care about these people. So, because sometimes in the moment, it's hard to be thinking about all these things that we learned. So talk it out with someone, or someone who knows Spiritism maybe, so they can guide you in these directions. And we can be reminded of these things in situations, because it's easy to talk about it now, but we also need to put it into practice, into our daily lives. So that's where we'll leave off today. And we'll leave off a little early because next week we'll start the next chapter, and there's not enough time to start the next section yet, so we'll leave off here today. But before we leave off, I'd like to read our message from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone for today's date, October 9th. The right track. Even if you're on the right track, you will get run over if you just sit there. We got a plan, and it's a good one. Everything is ready. So, we sit and wait for life to start happening. Surely being poised and ready is enough. But of course, it isn't. Just knowing where we want to go and preparing to go there isn't enough. At some point, sooner rather than later, we need to get moving. It's risky. Things can go wrong, but there's really no alternative. What step can I take to move towards my goals? I will do what it takes to act to follow these steps and to make things happen. So this is a really important message that we can also put into our daily lives to make sure that even if we're on the right track, even if we have it all set up, we're going to school and we're going to work and we're doing everything, we have to make sure we're actually doing that extra effort. Like, your homework's not going to get done by just sitting there. Your test, you're not going to do good in your test by not studying for it. So we need to make sure that even though we might have the right track, we might have the right plan, we need to make sure we're acting upon that and doing the best that we can. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to talk about at all, feel free to email me at kardecradioforteens@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you right away. I'm Bia, and this has been Kardec Radio for Teens. Thank you all for listening. This has been Kardec Radio for Teens. Thank you all for listening.